Hi, my name is Katharina Alamani, doing my presentation on cortisol and aldosterone. First, we'll do an introduction to each of these. Cortisol is a steroid hormone that your adrenal glands, and the adrenal glands that are on top of the kidneys, produce and release. Cortisol affects several aspects of the body and mainly helps regulate your body's response to stress. Aldosterone is a hormone that helps regulate your blood pressure by managing the levels of sodium, also known as salt, and potassium in your blood, and impacts the blood volume. Having too much or too little aldosterone in your body can cause health issues. So now let's take a deeper look into what is cortisol. Cortisol is a glucocorticoid hormone that your adrenal glands produce and release, as we said before. Hormones are chemicals that coordinate different functions in your body by carrying messages through your blood to your organs, skin, muscles, and other tissues. These signals tell your body what to do and when to do it. Glucocorticoids are a type of steroid hormone. They suppress inflammation in all of your bodily tissues and control metabolism in your muscles, fat, liver, and bones. Glucocorticoids also affect sleep-wake cycles. Your adrenal glands, also known as suprarenal glands, are small, triangle-shaped glands that are located on top of each of your two kidneys. They are part of your endocrine system. So cortisol and what it does in the body. Cortisol is an essential hormone that affects almost every organ and tissue in the body. It plays many important roles, including regulating your body's stress response, helping control the body's use of fat, proteins, and carbohydrates, or your metabolism, suppressing inflammation, regulating blood pressure, regulating blood sugar, helping control your sleep-wake cycle, and your body continuously monitors your cortisol levels to maintain steady levels, also known as homeostasis. Higher than normal or lower than normal cortisol levels can be harmful to your health. Now let's turn our attention to aldosterone. This is a hormone that your adrenal glands release that help regulate blood pressure by managing the levels of sodium and potassium in your blood. Sodium and potassium are electrolytes. Electrolytes are minerals that help balance the amount of fluid in the body and keep your nerves and muscles functioning properly. Aldosterone also helps control the amount of water your kidneys absorb. This increases blood volume and also impacts blood pressure. Your adrenal glands are tiny triangle glands that are located on top of the two kidneys. They're a part of your endocrine system, as cortisol is as well, and produce hormone that help to regulate several functions in the body. Hormones, again, are the chemicals that coordinate different functions of the body by carrying the messages throughout. These signals tell your body what to do and when to do it. And again, just as we saw in cortisol, if your body has too much or too little of aldosterone, it can impact your health. So now let's look at what it does inside the body. Aldosterone's primary function is to help regulate your blood pressure. Aldosterone contributes to this important function in many ways. Aldosterone signals certain organs, like your kidneys and colon, to increase the amount of sodium they send into your bloodstream or the amount of potassium released in the urine. Another thing is that aldosterone affects the sodium increase, causing your body to retain water in the blood, which increases blood volume. All of these actions are essential to increase blood pressure levels to a healthy range once they drop. Indirectly, aldosterone also helps maintain the blood's pH, or acid-base balance, and the electrolyte levels as well. So now let's talk about how the levels are controlled when it comes to aldosterone. Aldosterone is a part of an elaborate group of linked hormones, enzymes, proteins, and the reactions called the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system, which helps regulate the blood pressure, as we said before. To start the system or cycle, when blood pressure falls, your kidney releases the enzyme renin into your bloodstream. Renin splits angiotensinogen, a protein that the liver makes, into pieces. One piece is angiotensin 1. Angiotensin 1 is an inactive, which means does not cause any effect, is split into pieces by the angiotensin converting enzyme ACE, which your lungs make. One of the pieces is angiotensin 2, which makes an active hormone. Angiotensin 2 causes the muscular walls of small arteries to constrict. This increases blood pressure. Angiotensin 2 also triggers your adrenal glands to release aldosterone and your pituitary gland to release antidiuretic hormones, or ADH, or vasopressin. Together, aldosterone and ADH cause your kidneys to retain sodium. Aldosterone also causes your kidneys to release or excrete potassium through your urine. The increase in sodium in your bloodstream causes water retention. This increases blood volume and blood pressure, thus completing the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. The renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system is also activated by other hormones, including corticosteroids, estrogen, and thyroid hormones. If there is an issue with any aspect of this system, it can impact the blood pressure and sodium, as well as the potassium levels. However, several other factors can affect your blood pressure, including high cholesterol, genetics, and certain medications. So this illustration that we see here is a visual depiction of the cycle we were just talking about. And we see that we have all the different components and how there is the loop system that we were addressing. Now let's turn our attention back to cortisol and how the body controls the levels of cortisol. Your body has an elaborate system to regulate the cortisol levels. The hypothalamus, a small area of the brain involved in hormonal regulation, and the pituitary gland, a tiny gland located below the brain, regulate the production of cortisol in your adrenal glands. When the levels of cortisol in your blood fall, the hypothalamus releases corticotropin-releasing hormones, also known as CRH, which direct your pituitary gland to produce adrenocorticotropic hormones, or ACTH. ACTH then stimulates your adrenal glands to produce and release cortisol. In order to have optimal levels of cortisol in your body, your hypothalamus and pituitary gland, as well as the adrenal glands, must all function properly. So here we have some references, but also some closing thoughts. So some tests that the healthcare providers can run on cortisol and aldosterone are the following. So For the cortisol, they may be measuring blood, urine, or saliva in their test. They determine the test by the symptoms. The most common one for aldosterone is the renin ratio test. Since renin and aldosterone are closely related, this test can help determine whether there is an issue with just the aldosterone production and function, or if the issue is with the renin-angiotensin system. The aldosterone-renin ratio test typically requires a blood sample from the vein in the arm.